What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can automate a talent agency using make.com. Let's get started. On Whimsical, I've outlined all the different processes for a talent agency that we're going to automate in this video. The first process that we're going to automate in this video is a client lead generation process, where we'll create an automation that captures leads via Typeform on our website and then adds the leads directly to monday.com. We'll also send them an email with talent portfolios attached when leads are added to our CRM. The next process that we're going to automate in this video is a client onboarding process. We will create an automation that creates a Calendly scheduling link for our clients to schedule for an interview. The automation will also create a contract using PandaDoc and send it to our clients via email for them to sign. The next process that we're going to automate in this video is a talent acquisition process. We will create a type form to capture talent submissions, then add the submissions to Monday and send our talents a confirmation email. We'll also send a notification to the talent manager when an application is received with the links to the portfolio. The next process that we're going to automate in this video is a talent onboarding process, where we'll create an automation that creates a scheduling link and send it to our talents for them to schedule for an interview. The automation will also send document requests to our talent and create a contract on PandaDoc and send it to our talents for them to sign. We're also going to automate sending reminders for follow-ups after auditions, bookings, or meetings. After automating the talent onboarding process, the next process that we're going to automate is the invoice management process, where we'll automate invoice generation in Stripe using the data from bookings in our CRM. We'll also send automatic payment reminders to clients when invoices are overdue. The next process that we're going to automate in this video is the training and skill development process, where we'll create an automation that sends a training session scheduling link via email. We'll also send reminders for workshops and auto-send educational resources to our talent. The next process that we'll automate is the creative asset management process, where we'll create an automation that uploads documents into Google Drive, grants access to users, and notifies the team members when assets or documents are uploaded. The next process that we're going to automate in this video is the work permit management process, where we'll create an automation that notifies talent of visa deadline or any new changes in regional work or visa regulations. After automating the work permit management process, the next process that we'll automate is internship and hiring programs process, where we'll create an automation that automatically distributes job listings to multiple social media platforms. And the last process that we're going to automate in this video is the talent performance management process, where we'll create an automation that automates feedback collection via Typeform and logs in the responses on Monday. We're going to start by automating the first process, which is the client lead generation process. In this process, we're going to create a Typeform to capture leads on our website and create an automation that adds the leads directly to Monday. We'll also send the client an email with talent portfolios attached when leads are added to Monday. On Typeform, I've created a form that I've renamed to Scarlet Skies Agency Clients Form. I'm going to name our talent agency Scarlet Skies Agency. This is the form that we're going to attach to our website for our clients to fill in and give us details of the talent they're looking for. On this form, we are asking our clients a series of questions that will help us understand the kind of talent they're looking for. The first question that we're asking them is to fill in this form with their details. Here they're going to fill in their first name, last name, the email, and the company name. The second question we're asking them is, what type of talents are you looking for? And here they will choose either of these options. The third question that we're asking them is, what is the scope of the project? And here they'll choose either of these options. The fourth question that we're asking them is, what specific skills or qualities are you looking for in the talent? And then here they'll type in their answer. The fifth question that we're asking them is, what is your budget for this project? And then here they will type in their answer. The sixth question that we're asking them is, what kind of compensation structure are you offering? And here they'll choose either of these options. The seventh question that we're asking them is, are you open for talent of all experience levels? And here they will choose either yes or no. The eighth question that we're asking them is, have you worked with talent agencies before? And here they'll either choose yes or no. And the last question that we're asking them is, how did you hear about Scarlet Skies Agency? Here they'll either choose Google search, advertisement, social media, or referral options over here. So this could be the example form that we're going to attach to our website for the clients to fill in and give us details of the kind of talent they're looking for. So after our clients fills in this form, we like to add them with their responses on Monday. On Monday, I've created a board that I've renamed to Scarlet Skies Agency Clients. This is the board that we're going to add our clients after they have filled in our form. On this board, we are collecting their full name, the date we created them, or the date they filled in our form, their status. And on status, we have intake, onboard, send invoice, send feedback as the status of each of our clients. We're also collecting their first name, last name, their email, the talent type, the project scope, the skills they're looking for, compensation, and how they discovered our agency. Now, to add our clients with information to our board on Monday, we'll need to create a simple automation on Make. So on Make, I've created a folder that I've named to Talent Agency. This is the folder that we're going to add automation, automating the processes for talent agency. So on our folder, I'll click on Create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to Add Client Info to Monday.com via Typeform. Here, since we're collecting our clients' responses via Typeform, I'm going to search for Typeform. And here we're going to watch our clients' responses. Here we have two watch responses triggers, one with acid and the other one with instant and acid. The difference between the two, one with acid only, you'll need to choose when you like to trigger our module. But the one with instant, it instantly triggers after the client submits the form. I'm going to choose the watch response with acid only, since I would like to choose when I would like to trigger our module. Yeah, I'm going to choose my connection. But if you haven't created a connection between Typeform and Make, click on Add, then rename your connection right here, and click on Save. And then a new window will be prompted where you'll choose the account that you like to connect to Make, and your connection will be created. But since I had already created my connection, I'm going to close and choose my connection right here. I'm going to limit it to one and choose our client's form over here. Our client's form is Scarlet Skies Agency Client's form. And then here I'm going to click on Save. You can see it's asking me to choose where I would like to start. So here you can choose to start from now, since a specific date, all or choose manually. I'm going to choose Start from now and then click on Save. Now, on our form, I'll click on Share. I'm going to copy the link to our form and open it on a new tab. Here, I'm going to fill in our form, this time around as a client. Now to fill in the form, I'm going to click on Start. Then here, I'm going to fill in personal information of an example client. Their first name could be Mary, the last name could be Anne, and their email could be maryann@annex.com, and their company name could be Annex. I'm going to click on OK. What type of talent are you looking for? You can say we're looking for an author. What is the scope of the project? You can say long-term. What specific skills or qualities are you looking for? You can say acting. And then click on OK. What is your budget? $1,000. And click on OK. What kind of compensation structure are you offering? You can say project-based. Are you open for talents of all experiences? You can say yes. Have you worked with talent agencies before? We can say yes. How did you hear about us? We can say advertisement. And click on Submit. On Make, here, I'll run this module. Here, you can see we're getting our client's information that we just filled in on our form. Now, with our information over here, we can proceed to add it to Monday. But here, I'll add another module, and then on Tools, I'm going to choose the Sleep module and delay this module for 3 seconds to give Typeform some time to populate the client's data. And then now here, I'll add another module, and then on Monday, I'm going to search for Create an Item module. Here, I'm going to choose our connection. If you haven't created a connection between Make and Monday, click on Add. Here, you'll rename your connection, and then from Monday, you'll paste your API key right here. To get your API key from Monday, click on your profile, and then click on Administration, click on Connection, then click on API. Here, you'll find the API token. All you have to do is copy it, and come and paste it right here and click on Save, and your connection will be created. But since I had already created my connection, I'm going to close and choose my connection right here. And then for the item name, we're going to add the first and last name of our client. So I'll choose Mary space Anne. For the board ID, I'm going to choose our client's board, which is this board over here. For the group ID, I'm going to choose our clients list. And then now here, we're going to add values to our columns on Monday with the data that we got on Typeform. I'll add an item, and then I'll choose a column. I'm going to choose a compensation column, and here we can add the value for the compensation, which is this value right here. And I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose a date created column. And then here we're going to add submitted at date. Then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose a discovery column. Here we're going to add the value for the discovery, which is this value right here. How did they hear about us? Then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the email column. Then here we're going to add the values for the email, which is his email address right here. We're also going to add email as the text. Then I'll add a new item and choose a new column. I'm going to choose the first name column. Then I'll add the value for the first name, choose Mary. Then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the last name column. And then here we're going to add the value for the last name, which is Anne. Then I'll add a new item and choose a new column. I'm going to choose the project scope column. Then I'll add the value for the project scope, which is this value right here. Then I'll add a new item and choose a new column. I'm going to choose the skill column. And here we can add the value for the skill, which is this. And then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the talent type. And then here we're going to add the value for the talent type. Then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the status column. And I'm going to choose to label it. And then we can label it as intake and then click on save. Now, after adding our clients to our board on Monday, we can send them a thank you email, thanking them for filling out our form. So here, I'll search for email, then click on send an email module. I'll rename this module to welcome email. And then click on OK. For welcome email, we're going to add our client's email address over here. The subject line of this email could be on the lines of welcome to Scarlet Skies, talent portfolios inside. The content type, we're going to choose plain text, and the content of this email could be on the lines of hi, first name. We're going to add our client's first name right here. Welcome to Scarlet Skies. We are thrilled to have you on board and excited to help you find the perfect talent for your project. Based on your requirements, we've carefully selected a few talent portfolios that align with your vision. Please find them attached for your review. If you have any questions or would like to discuss the next steps, feel free to reply to this email or schedule a call with us. We are here to ensure a seamless and successful collaboration. Looking forward to working together. Best, James at Scarlet Skies. And then here I'm going to click on save. Now to test if automation works, I'm not going to fill in our form again, but I'm going to choose our previous submission. So here I'll choose where to start and choose manually. And then I'll choose our submission and click on save. And then I'll run automation. You can see that automation ran successfully. Here we got our client's data that they filled in on our form. We delayed for 30 seconds, and then we added our client to Monday. And then we also send them a welcome email with the subject line and this email content over here. When we go back to Monday, here you can see that we added a new client to our board. The name is Marianne. The status is intake. Here's your first name, last name, the email, the talent type, project scope, skill, compensation, and discovery. So with this simple automation, we've automated the first process, which is a client lead generation process for a talent agency. The next process that we're going to automate in this video is a client onboarding process. We'll create a scheduling link via Calendly and send it to our client for them to schedule for an interview. We'll also create a contract using PandaDoc and send it to them via email for them to sign. So on our talent agency folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename this scenario to client onboarding. And then here, I'll create a webhook that will be triggered after the status of one of our clients changes to onboard. I'll click on webhooks, then click on custom webhook. I'll rename our webhook to client onboarding. And then click on save. Here I'll copy the link to our webhook and click on save. Then I'll run it to test it. So on Monday, on our client's board, I'll click on integrate. Here, I'll click on webhooks. Then I would like to send a webhook when the status of one of our clients changes to something. So I'll use this as our template. Here I'll use another account and paste our webhook URL right here and click on connect. Says failed to communicate with the URL provided. Here, we'll need to return this challenge text using a webhook response. So I'll click on webhook response and then here, allow to call it braces. And then I'll write challenge. And add our text right here. Click on save. Then I'll run our webhook. And then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see that it ran successfully. Here, I'll delete our webhook response, then run our webhook to test it. And then here, we'll need to set it up first. So I like to send our webhook when the status of one of our clients changes on board. Then I'll click on create automation. Now to test if it works, I'll change the status of one of our clients to onboard. You can see that it ran successfully. And here we got the specific client host status we just changed. To get the rest of their data, I'll copy this pulse ID Then here I'll add another module. And then on Monday, I'm going to search for get an item module. Click on get an item. For the ID, we're going to add our pulse ID. Here I'm going to choose our client's board, which is this board over here, and click on save. And then here, I'll run this module by pasting our pulse ID right here and click on OK. Here you can see we're getting the rest of the data, like their first name, last name, the email, and the information over here. Now with their data, we can create a scheduling link that we're going to send them via email. So here I'll search for Calendly, and on Calendly I'm going to click on create a scheduling link module. I'm going to choose our connection, and for the event count I'm going to choose 1. For the event type I'm going to choose the onboarding call, and then click on save. And here I'll rename this to onboarding call link and click on OK. And now after we've created our onboarding call, we can also create a contract using PandaDoc. So I'll search for PandaDoc and click on create a document. Like we did previously, you'll also need to create a connection between your PandaDoc account and Make.com account. To do that, just click on add, and then here you rename your connection, then click on save, and then a new window will be prompted where you'll choose the account that you'd like to connect to Make. After creating a connection, here we'll create a contract using a template that we'll have created on PandaDoc. On PandaDoc, head over to templates, then click on template. Here we're going to search the document that we'd like to create, which is a contract. Here you can use any of these documents as templates. For example, we can use the service contract template to create our contract. So I'm going to select the template and click on add one item. I'm going to rename our template as Scarlet Skies contract template. On this template, we're going to customize it and ensure that it's aligned with the services that you're offering in your agency. After customizing your contract template, click on create document. You'll give your document a name and then click on continue. You can see that our contract was created. We're going to give our document a name. You can say it's our client's contract. And then here I'm going to choose our template ID, which is Scarlet Skies contract template. Now here, add the information of your customer and your company over here. After filling in all this information, click on save, and then I'll rename this module to create contract, and then click on OK. Now here we can run this module and then add an example first name, client first name right here, and see if we're going to create our contract from our template. You can see here we created our contract, and the document ID is this one right here. Now with this document ID we can download it, so we can send it to our client as a PDF document. So on PandaDoc, I'm going to click on download the document. We're going to add our document ID, which is this document ID right here, and click on save. And then I'll rename this module to download contract, and then click on OK. We can send our client the onboarding call link for them to schedule for an interview and the contract via email. So here I'll add another module. Then on email, I'm going to click on send an email module. Here, I'm going to rename our module to onboard email. For the email address, we're going to add our client's email address from Monday right here. The subject line could be on the lines of next steps, schedule your interview, and contract attached. Content type, we're going to choose plain text, and the content of this email could be on the lines of hi, first name. Thank you for choosing Scarlet Skies. We're excited to move forward and to connect with you with the right talent for your project. To streamline the process, please use the link below to schedule a quick interview at your own convenience. And here we're going to add our booking URL from Calendly. Additionally, we've attached the contract outlining our terms and next steps. Please review and sign the contract using the link below. And here we're adding our contract after we download the dates over here. And we're going to send it as a PDF document. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And looking forward to working together. Best regards, James. And here I'm going to click on save. Now to test if automation works, I'll run automation. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to onboard. You can see that automation ran successfully right here. We created a simple automation that creates a scheduling link and a contract and sends the link and the contract to our client via the onboard email. This is the subject line of the email. This is the email content with the link for them to schedule for an interview and our contract as a PDF document for them to sign. By creating this simple automation, we've automated the client onboarding process. The next process that we're going to automate is a talent acquisition process, where we'll create a type form to capture submissions from our website and then add the submissions to Monday and send our talents a confirmation email. We'll also send a notification to the talent manager when an application is received with a link to the portfolio. To automate the talent acquisition process, on Typeform, I've created a talent form. So on this form, we are asking our talents a series of questions. The first question that we're asking them is for them to fill in the form and give us their personal information. Here they'll give us their first name, last name, email, and company they've worked in. We're also asking them, what is your primary talent or field? The third question that we're asking them is, how long have you been working in your field? And they'll type in the answer here. The fourth question that we're asking them is, what type of opportunities are you seeking through Scarlet Skies? And here they're going to choose either of these options. The fifth question that we're asking them is, what is your availability like for new opportunities? Then they're going to choose either of these options right here. The sixth question that we're asking them is, what type of work are you most interested in? And then here they'll choose either of these options. The seventh question that we're asking them is, do you have any location preferences for work? And then here they'll choose either of these options right here. The eighth question that we're asking them is, have you worked with talent agencies before? And here they'll either choose yes or no. The last question that we're asking them is, how did you hear about Scarlet Skies agency? And here they'll either choose either of these options over here. Now, after our talent has filled in our form, we're going to add the information to our talent board that I've created on Monday. On Monday, I've created this board that I've renamed to Scarlet Skies Agency Talent. This is the board that we're going to add our talents after they filled in our form with information. Here we're collecting their full name, the date we created them, their status, and on status we have intake, onboard, training material, and work permit as the status of each of our talents. We're also collecting their first name, last name, the email, the talent they possess, the opportunity they're looking for, their availability, work type, and how they discovered our agency. Now, to add the information from Typeform to our board on Monday, we'll need to create a simple automation on Make. So on our talent agency folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to add talent info to Monday via Typeform. And here, I'm going to search for Typeform. Click on watch response module. I'm going to choose our connection. Then I'll choose our talent form over here. Choose this form. And then click on save. I'm going to start from now. Then click on save. On our talents form, I'll click on share. Here, I'll copy the link to our talents form and open it on a new tab. Now, to fill in our form as a talent, I'll click on start. And here we're going to give our talent a name. The first name could be Joseph, last name could be Robert, the email could be joerobert@annex.com, and here could be, and Annex could be the company they've worked previously. And here I'm going to click on OK. What is your primary talent? You can say photography. How long have you been working in your field? You can say 12 months. Click on OK. What type of opportunities are you seeking through Scarlet Skies? You can say job placement. What's your availability and your opportunities? You can say part-time. What type of work are you most interested in? You can say commercial. Do you have any location preferences for your work? You can say local. Have you worked with talent agencies before? You can say no. How did you hear about Scarlet? You can say social media and click on submit. Now here, I'll run our module. And then you can see that we captured responses over here. Now with the response, we can add it to Monday. So I'll add another module. And then on tools, I'll click on the sleep module. Yeah, can delay for 3 seconds to give Typeform some time to populate our talents information. Then we can proceed to add them to Monday. So on Monday, I'll search for create an item module. Then click on create an item. I'm going to choose my connection. And then here we'll add our item name. Our item name will be the first and last name of our talent. For the board ID, I'm going to choose our talents board, which is Scarlet Skies Agency Talents. For the group ID, I'm going to choose the talents list. Then here, we're going to add values to the columns on Monday with the data that we got on Typeform. So I'll add an item and choose a new column. I'm going to choose the availability column. And then here we're going to add the value for the availability. Then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the date created column. And we're going to add the date they submitted the form. Then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the discovery column. And here we can add the values for the discovery. right here. Then I'll add a new item and choose a new column. I'm going to choose the email column. Here we're going to add the value for the email. So we're going to add the email address. You can also use the email as a text. Then I'll add an item, choose a new column. Then I'll add a new item and choose a new column. I'm going to choose the first name as a column. Here we're going to add the value for the first name, which is Joseph. Then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the last name as a column. And here we're going to add the value for the last name, choose Roberts. Then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose opportunity as a column. And here we're going to add the value for the opportunity, which is this one right here. Then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the talent as a column. And then I'll add the value for the talent right here. And I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the work type as a column. And here we're going to add the value for the work type. And then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the status as a column. I'm going to choose to label it. And then I'm going to label it as intake and click on save. Now, after adding our talents information to Monday, we can send them a confirmation email. So on email, I'll click on send an email module. I'll rename our module to confirmation email. And here we're going to add our client's email address as the recipient. The subject line of this email could be in the lines of welcome to Scarlet Skies. Your submission is confirmed. For the content type, we're going to choose plain text. The content of this email could be in the lines of hi, first name. Thank you for signing up with Scarlet Skies. We've received your information and are excited to learn more about you. Our team will review your submission and reach out soon regarding potential opportunities that match your skills and career goals. In the meantime, be sure to check out your inbox for updates and feel free to reply if you have any questions. We're looking forward to helping you shine. Stay inspired, James Williams at Scarlet Skies. And here I'm going to click on OK. We can also send a notification to the manager, notifying them of a new talent that just submitted the information. We can notify our manager via email or Slack, depending on the communication channel they're using. So here we can assume they're using Slack as a communication tool. So on Slack, I'm going to click on create a message. And then here we can rename this to manager notification. And then click on OK. If you haven't created a connection between your Slack account and Make, click on add. Here you'll choose your connection type, choose on Slack user, then rename your connection here and click on save. And then your window will be prompted where you'll choose the account that you'd like to connect to Make. And then your connection will be created. And here I'm going to choose the channel that our manager is in. You can assume they're in this channel right here. And this could be the message notification that we're sending to them. We're telling them, hi Jimmy, a new talent application has been submitted. Here are the details. We're adding the name of the talent type, and the experience level. And then we tell them, please review the submission and let us know if you'd like to move forward with the next step. And then here, best paid. Then I'm going to click on OK. Now to test if automation works, I'm not going to fill in our form again, but I'm going to choose to start from our previous submission. So I'll choose where to start and choose manually, choose our previous submission and click on save. And then I'll run automation. You can see that automation ran successfully. Here we got our talents info and we added the info to Monday. We sent them a confirmation email via the confirmation email right here with the subject line and this email content right here. And then we're also notifying our talent manager via Slack of a new talent that just filled in our form. And here are their details, including the name, talent type, and the experience level. On our talents board, you can see we added a new talent on Monday. Here's their full name, Joseph Roberts. We added the date we created them, their status is intake. Here's their first name, last name, the email, their talent, the opportunity they're looking for, the availability, the work type, and how they discovered our agency. So with this simple automation, we've automated the talent acquisition process for a talent agency. The next process we're going to automate is the talent onboarding process. We will create an automation that sends a scheduling link to our talents for them to schedule for an interview. We're also going to create and send them a contract for them to sign. And we're also going to create reminders for follow-ups after the interview. To automate the talent onboarding process, on our talent agency folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to talent onboarding. Now to automate our talent onboarding process, here I'll create a webhook that will be triggered after the status of one of our talents changes to onboard. So here I'll click on webhook, then click on custom webhook. Here I'll click on add, then I'll rename our webhook to talent onboarding, and then I'll click on save. Here I'll copy the link to our webhook, then click on save, and then I'll run our webhook. On Monday, on our talents board, I'll click on integrate. Here I'll click on webhooks. Then I'd like to send a webhook when the status of one of our talents changes to something, so I'll use this as our template. Here I'll use another account and paste our webhook URL right here and click on connect. It says fail to communicate with the URL provided. Here we'll return this challenge text using a webhook response. So I'll add another module and click on webhooks, click on webhook response. Here I'll add two curly braces and write challenge. Then I'll add our text right here and click on save. Then I'll run our webhook again. Then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see that our response ran successfully, so I'll delete it and then run our webhook to test it. But we'll need to set it up first, so I'd like to send a webhook on the status of one of our talents changes to onboard. Then I'll click on create automation. Now to test it, I'll change the status of one of our talents to onboard. You can see that our webhook is running successfully. Here we got the specific talent whose status we just changed. To get the rest of the data, I'll copy this pulse ID, then I'll add another module, and then on Monday, I'll search for get an item module and click on get an. Then for the ID, I'm going to add our pulse ID. For the board ID, I'm going to choose our talents board, which is this board right here, and click on save. And then here, I'll run this module by pasting our pulse ID that we copied from our webhook, and then running it. Here you can see we're getting the rest of the data, like their first name, last name, the email, and the rest of the information over here. We'd like to create a scheduling link for them that we're going to send them for them to schedule for an interview. So here, I'll search for Calendly and click on create a scheduling link module. Choose my connection, and then for the event type, I'm going to choose one. For the event type, I'm going to choose the onboarding call, then click on save. Then here, I'll rename this to interview link, and click on OK. After creating a scheduling link, we'll also like to create a contract and send it to them for them to sign. So here, I'll create a contract using Pandadoc. So I'll search for Pandadoc and click on create a document. Here, I'm going to choose our connection. Here, you can give our document a name and say it's their first name, contract. Then here, we'll need to create a template for the talent. So you're going to follow the same process that we did previously while we were creating these example contract for our clients. This time around is going to be for our talents. Then after creating the contract for the talents, here you're going to choose the talents contract over here. I'm going to choose our Skies contract template as an example. Now, assuming this is a talent contract template that you just created, then here you'll need to add the information of your talent and your company. Then click on save. And then here I'll rename this to create contract, and then click on OK. Test if it will create a contract for us using our template. I'll run this module. Here we can add an example first name, David, and then click on OK. You can see that it's creating our talents contract, and this is the ID of our contract. Now, since with the ID we can download it, so we can send the contract via email as a PDF document. So on Pandadoc, I'll click on download the document. Here I'll add the document ID, which is this ID right here, and click on save. And then here I'll rename this module to download contract, and then click on OK. We're going to send our interview link and our contract document via the onboarding email. Here we're going to add the email address of our talents from Monday. So this email right here. The subject line of this email could be in the lines of next steps, schedule your interview, and sign your contract. With the content type, we're going to choose plain text, and the content of this email could be in the lines of hi, first name. Thank you for submitting your application to Scarlet Skies. We're excited to learn more about you and discuss potential opportunities. Please take a moment to schedule your interview using the link below. And here we're adding our scheduling link from Calendly. Additionally, we provided a contract outlining our terms. Please review and sign it at your earliest convenience using the link below. And here we are adding our contract for them to sign. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. Best regards, James. And I'm going to click on OK. We'll also like to send an automated reminder follow-up after the interview. So here, I'll add another module, and then on tools, I'll set a date variable. So here, I'll name our variable to date. You can give it this value as now, then click on OK. And here, we'd like to send a follow-up email. So on email, I'll click on send an email module. For follow-up, I'll rename our module to follow-up email. The email address, we're going to add our talent's email address for Monday. The subject line of this email could be on the lines of follow up on your recent interview. Content type, we're going to choose plain text, and the content of this email could be on the lines of hi, first name. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to follow up on your recent interview and check in how everything went. If you have any updates, feedback, or questions, feel free to share. We're here to support you every step of the way. Additionally, if there are any next steps or actions needed from your end, please let us know at your earliest convenience. Looking forward to hearing from you. Best, James. And here I'm going to click on OK. Depending on the date that the call is happening, we can choose to set up a filter to send the follow-up email. We can send our email maybe 5 days after we send the onboarding email. I'll label it to wait 5 days. And then for the condition, we can say that the date should equal. And then on date and time, I'm going to click on add days. Here, I'm going to choose now. And then here we can choose to send it 5 days after we send the onboarding email. To test if automation works, I'll run it. Then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our talents to onboard. You can see that automation ran successfully. We triggered our webhook after we changed the status of one of our talents to onboard. Then we created an interview link and a contract that we sent via the onboarding email with the subject line and the email content. Then we're going to wait for a few days to send the follow-up email after the interview happened. So with this simple automation, we've automated the talent onboarding process for a talent agency. The next process that we're going to automate in this video is the invoice management process. We'll automate invoice generation in Stripe using the data of our clients on Monday. We're also going to send an automatic payment reminder email to our clients when the invoice is due. So to automate our invoice management process, on our talent agency folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to invoice management. And here, I'll create a webhook that will be triggered after the status of one of our clients changes to send invoice. So here, I'll click on webhook, then click on custom webhook. Here I'll click on add, then I'll rename our webhook to invoice management, and then click on save. Here I'll copy the link to our webhook, then click on save and run our webhook. Then on Monday, I'll click on integrate. Here I'll click on webhooks, then I'll use these as our templates. Here I'll use another account and paste our webhook URL right here and click on connect. It says fail to communicate to the URL provided. We'll return our challenge text using a webhook response. So here I'll add two curly braces. And then I'll write challenge right here. And add our text and click on save and run automation. And then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see that our webhook response ran successfully, so I'll delete it and run our webhook. Then on Monday, I'll set up our webhook. So I'd like to send a webhook when the status of one of our clients changes to send invoice. Then click on create automation. Now to test if our webhook works, I'll change the status of one of our clients to send invoice. You can see our webhook ran successfully. We got the client whose status we just changed. To get the rest of their data, I'll copy this pulse ID. Then here I'll add another module. Then on Monday, I'm going to search for get an item module and click on get an item. Here I'll choose my connection. Then I'll add our pulse ID as the ID right here and choose our client's board right here. And then click on save. Yeah, I'll run this module by pasting our pulse ID over here and click on OK. Now here you can see we're getting our client's data right here. Now with the information, we can automate creating an invoice using Stripe and send the invoice to our client via email. Here I'll add another module, and then we're going to use Stripe as our payment provider. So I'll search for Stripe, and then on Stripe, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our client on Stripe. So I'll click on create a customer module. Here we're going to add the description of our services. To add the description as talent services, we're going to add the email address. So I'm going to add the email address right here. You can add the name, the phone number, the address if you have the information. But I'm going to choose to click on save. After creating our clients on Stripe, I'm going to search for create an invoice item. Then click on create an invoice item. Here we're going to add our custom ID after we created them on Stripe. For the input and amount, I'm going to choose by total amount and add the amount that we're charging them right here. For example, we could be charging them $2,000 for services. The currency, we're going to use USD as a currency. And here, we're going to add talent services as our description. You can also add the start and end period, but I'm going to click on save. Then after creating an invoice item, I'm going to create an invoice. So here, I'll search for create an invoice and click on create an invoice module. For the custom ID, we're going to add the custom ID from our create a customer module. Here, for the collection method, you can either choose to charge them automatically or send them an invoice. If you choose to send them an invoice, you'll need to add days until due. You can add an example as 3 days. For the description, you can add talent services, then click on save. Now, after creating our invoice, we can finalize the invoice on Stripe. So I'll search for finalize the draft invoice. For the invoice ID, we're going to add the invoice ID and then click on save. And now we can send the invoice to our client via email. So here I'll add another module. Then on email, I'll click on send an email module. Now I'll rename our email to invoice email. The email address, I'm going to add our client's email address from Monday right here. The subject line of this email will come in the lines of invoice for your booking payment link inside. Content type, I'm going to choose plain text, and the content of this email could be in the lines of hi, first name. Hope you're doing well. Please find your invoice for the services attached. You can conveniently complete the payment using the link below. And here we're telling them to pay your invoice using this invoice URL from Stripe. We're also including the invoice details like the invoice number, due date, and the amount due. If you have any questions regarding the invoice or need assistance, feel free to reach out. Looking forward to working with you. Best regards, James. And I'm going to click on save. We can also send our client a payment reminder email if after the due date, our invoice is still open and the client still hasn't paid the invoice. So here, I'll add another module, and then on tools, I'll set a date variable for us to send the payment reminder email. I'm going to name our variable as date and give it a variable value as now, and click on OK. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to search if our client has paid the invoice. So here I'll add another module, and then on Stripe, I'm going to search for search invoices module. Here we'll add the custom ID after we created them on Stripe. Right here, the status of our invoice should be open. Collection type, I'm going to choose to charge them automatically. Can limit it to 1, then click on save. So here we like to search if our invoice has been paid after the due date. So here we can set up a filter and label it to due date. And for the condition, we can say that the date should equal, then I'll choose the datetime operator. Then here we're going to add the due date. So if it's the due date, we're going to search if our invoice has been paid. Then if our invoice wouldn't have been paid, we're going to send the payment reminder email to our client. So we'll add another module, and then on email, I'll click on send an email module. I'm going to rename our module to payment reminder email. For the email address, we're going to add our client's email address as the recipient from Monday. Right here, the subject line of this email will be in the lines of friendly reminder, payment due for Scarlet Sky Talent Agency. For the content type, we're going to choose plain text, and the content of this email will be in the lines of hi, first name. This is a gentle reminder that your payment for our services is due. You can complete the payment securely using the link below. And here, we're going to add the link to our invoice. You can add our invoice URL right here. If you've already submitted the payment, thank you. Please disregard this message. Should you have any questions or need assistance, feel free to reply to this email or contact us out. And then here we're going to add our phone number. Thank you for your prompt attention to this matter. Best regards, James. Here, we can set up a filter and choose to send this email 1 day after the due date. So here we can label it to payment reminder, set up a condition. First condition we're going to add is that the amount due has to exist, and then the date that would like to send this email, I'll say should equal to, I'll click on the date time and click on add days. Here I'll choose the due date. I would like to send this email 1 day after the due date, and then click on save. So here, if is the due date, we're checking if our invoice has been paid. If our invoice wouldn't have been paid, we're going to send them the payment reminder email 1 day after the due date. Test if automation works. I'll run it. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to send invoice. You can see that automation ran successfully. We triggered our webhook after we changed the status of one of our clients to send invoice. Then we created them on Stripe. We created an invoice item. We also created an invoice and finalized the invoice. Then we send the invoice to our client via the invoice email. And then on the due date, we're checking if our invoice has been paid. If our invoice wouldn't have been paid, we're going to send them a payment reminder email 1 day after the due date. So with this simple automation, we've automated the invoice management process for a talent agency. The next process that we're going to automate in this video is a training and skill development process, where we'll create an automation that sends training session scheduling links to our talents via email. We're also going to grab educational resources from our Google Drive folder and send it to them via email. To automate the training and skill development process, on our talent agency folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to training and skill development. And here, I'll create a webhook that will be triggered after the status of one of our talents changes to training material. So here, I'll click on webhooks, then here I'll click on add, and then I'll rename our webhook to training and skill development. And then here I'll click on save and copy the link to our webhook, then click on save, then I'll run our webhook. On Monday, on our talents board, I'll click on integrate, then I'll click on webhooks. I'll use this as our template. Here I'll use another account and paste our webhook URL here and click on connect. It says fail to communicate with the URL provided. Here we'll return this challenge text using a webhook response. So on webhooks, I'll click on webhook response. Then here, I'll add 2 curly braces. I'll write challenge right here and add our text. Then click on save. And then I'll run our webhook. And then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see that our webhook response ran successfully. Here, I'll delete it. And then I'll run our webhook to test it. On Monday, I'll set up our webhook. So I like to send a webhook on the status of one of our talents changes to training materials. Then I'll click on create automation. To test it, I'll change the status of one of our talents to training materials. You can see that our webhook ran successfully. We got our talent host status we just changed. To get the rest of the data, I'll copy this pulse ID. Then I'll add another module. And then on Monday, I'll search for get an item module. Click on get an item. Here I'm going to choose our connection. For the ID, I'm going to choose our pulse ID. The board ID, I'm going to choose our talents board. Choose this board right here. Click on save. And here, I'll run our module and paste our pulse ID right here. Click on OK. Now here you can see we're getting our talents data, like the first name, last name, the email, and the information over here. Now here, with the information, we can create a scheduling link for them to schedule for a training session using Calendly. So I'll add another module and search for Calendly. Then on Calendly, I'll click on create a scheduling link. For the maximum event type, I'm going to choose 1. Then for the event type, I'm going to choose strategy session, then click on save. Yeah, I'll rename this to training session. Then click on OK. Now, apart from sending them the training session link, we can also send them educational materials from our Google Drive. So here, I'll search for Google Drive, then I'll click on search for files and folders. Here, I'm going to choose our folder. I'm going to choose the files folder, and I would like to retrieve files and folders. And then I'm going to perform a full text search and search for a folder. You can limit it to 1, click on save, and here, I'll run this module to see if we're going to get our educational resources. So here, you can see we got our educational resources folder. I'm going to rename this to educational resources. Click on OK. Now here, we'll create a link for our resources. So on Google Drive, I'll click on get a share link module. For the file ID, we're going to add file ID of our folder. Role, we can leave it as reader. For the type, we can say anyone with the link and click on save. And then I'll rename this to educational resources for link. And then click on OK. And now we can send the training session link and the educational resources link to our client via email. I'll rename our email module to educational resources email. For the email address, we're going to add our talents email for Monday. The subject line of this email could be on the lines of schedule your training session and access your resources. Content type, we're going to choose plain text, and the content of this email could be on the lines of hi, first name. We're excited to support you on your journey with Scarlet Skies. To help you get started, we've scheduled a training session to go over key insights, expectations, and best practices. Please use the link below to schedule your session at a time that works best for you. And here we're going to add our scheduling link from Calendly. Additionally, we've put together some valuable educational materials to help you prepare. And here we're going to add the link of our educational materials, which is this link over here. Then we're concluding the email by saying, please review the materials before our session. If you have any questions, in the meantime, feel free to reach out. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. Best regards, James. And I'm going to click on OK. We can also send them an email reminder for our workshops. So here, I'll add another module. And then on tools, I'll set a date variable. Yeah, you can say that the date variable and give it a variable value is now. Click on save. Yeah, I'll rename our email module to workshop email. Then we'll add our talents email address right here as a recipient. The subject line of this email could be the length of reminder, upcoming workshop, and miss out. Content type, we're going to choose plain text, and the content of this email could be the length of hi first name. Just a quick reminder about our upcoming workshop happening on, and then we're inserting the date. It's a great opportunity to enhance your skills and connect with other talented individuals. We highly encourage you to attend, as this will be an invaluable learning experience. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Looking forward to seeing you there. Best regards, James. And then I'm going to click on OK. Here, we can choose to send this email 5 days. So here, I'll label it to wait 5 days. Here we can say that the date should equal to, and then on date and time, I'll click on add days. Here, I'll add now. And then we can send this email 5 days. After 5 days, then click on OK. Now, to test if automation works, I'll run it. Then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our talents to training materials. Here we triggered our webhook after we change the status of one of our talents to training session, and we got their data and created a training session link. We also got our educational materials from our Google Drive folder and created a link for the educational resources. Then we are sending the training session link and the educational resources link to our talents via the educational resources email. And after 5 days, we're going to send them the workshop email. So by creating this simple automation on Make, we've automated the training and skill development process for a talent agency. The next process that we're going to automate in this video is a creative asset management process, where we'll create an automation that uploads documents into Google Drive and grants access to users and notifies the team members when assets or documents are uploaded. To automate the creative asset management process, on our talent agency folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to creative asset management. And then here, we're going to watch emails with documents attached to them. And then we're going to upload those documents to our Google Drive and give access to our team, and also notify them that a new document has been uploaded to our Google Drive folder. We can also outline which document has been uploaded. So here on email, I'll click on watch emails module. Here I'll choose the folder that we would like to watch. I'm going to choose the inbox folder. Criteria, we can see all emails. And here we can filter the incoming emails either by a sender email address, recipient email address, subject line, or a phrase in the email. Since this is an example, I'm going to add the sender email address right here. We can use this email as our example. We can take it a step further and add an example subject line to filter our email. So here, I'll click on save and choose to select the first email. So here, I'm going to choose this email right here. So this email has a document attached to it. So I'll run this module and see if our email has a document. You can see that our email ran successfully. And on attachments, we have this file name right here. It's an Airtable webhook script. So this is a document that we're going to try to add it to our Google Drive and send a notification to our team that a new document has been uploaded. So you can see that we have an attachment. So here, we're going to proceed to upload our document on Google Drive. So on Google Drive, I'm going to search for upload a file module. Here, I'm going to choose select from the list and choose the folder location. I'm going to choose the file's location. Here we can add our file name. So on attachments, we're going to add our file name and add the file, which is right here, and click on save. After uploading our document, we can give access to our team by creating a shareable link of the document. So on Google Drive, I'm going to click on get a share link module. And then here, I'll add the file ID. For the role, we can leave it as reader, and the type, we can choose anyone with the link, and then click on save. Now we can send the link to our team via Slack. So I'll search for Slack, then click on Slack, then here I'll click on create a message. Now I'll rename our module to team notification. With the channel type, we're going to choose public channel, and we're going to choose the channel that our team is in. And then we can send them the message notification. We'll tell them, hi team, any document has been uploaded to our shared system or folder. Please review it at your earliest convenience. And here we're adding the document details, like the document title. We're adding the file name of our document over here. Also adding the date uploaded, which is the date the email was sent. And we're also giving the link to the document after we created the share link over here. We're concluding by saying if you have any questions or need further information, feel free to reach out. Wait, and then I'm going to click on save. Now, to test if automation works, I'm going to choose where to start, and we can select our email with our document. This is the email right here, and click on save, and then we can run automation. can see that automation ran successfully. Here, you can and label it to attachment exists, and then we can set up a condition and say that attachment file name exists, and click on save to ensure that we are filtering our emails to emails with documents attached to them. So if an email has an attachment, we're going to upload the attachment to a Google Drive and notify our team. So here, I'll choose to start from our previous email. This is email. Click on save and test automation. You can see that automation ran successfully. Here, confirm to us that we have an attachment in our email. As you can see right here, we have an attachment in our email. Then we uploaded the document to a Google Drive and created a shareable link that we share with our team on Slack. We're also notifying them that we have a new document that has been uploaded on Slack. So by creating this simple automation on Make, we've automated the creative asset management process for a talent agency. The next process that we're going to automate is the work permit management process, where we'll create an automation that notifies our talent of visa deadlines or any new changes in regional work or visa regulations. To automate the work permit management process, on our talent agency folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to work permit management, and here I'll create a webhook that will be triggered after the status of one of our talents changes to work permit. So here I'll click on webhooks, then click on custom webhook, then I'll click on add and rename our webhook to work permit management, and then click on save. Here I'll copy the link to our webhook, then click on save and run our webhook. Then on Monday on our talents board, I'll click on integrate. Here I'll click on webhooks, and then I'll use this as our template. Here I'll use another account and paste our webhook URL right here and click on connect. It says fail to communicate with the URL provided. Now, here we return this challenge text using a webhook response. Now, here I'll have to call the braces and write challenge right here. Then I'm going to add our text and click on OK and run our webhook. Then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see that our response ran successfully, so I'll delete it and run our webhook to test it. But we'll need to set up our webhook first, so I'll like to send a webhook on the status of one of our talent changes to work permit and click on create automation. To test it, I'll change the status of one of our talents to work permit. You can see that our webhook ran successfully and we got the talent whose status we just changed. To get the rest of the data, I'll copy this pulse ID and then I'll add another module. Then on Monday, I'm going to search for get an item module. Click on get an item. For the ID, I'm going to add the pulse ID. For the board ID, I'm going to choose our talents board. Right here, then click on save. Then here, I run this module, paste our pulse ID right here and click on OK. Now you can see we're getting our talents data right here. We're getting the first name, last name, the email, and the information over here. Now with the information, we can send them an email notification regarding their work permit. I'll rename our email module to work permit email and add our talent's email address right here. The subject line of this email could be the lines of important notice, visa deadline, and regional work regulations. The content type, we're going to choose plain text, and the content of this email could be the lines of hi first name. We wanted to inform you about some important updates regarding your visa deadline and changes to regional work regulations that may affect your upcoming project. And here we are adding the key. Here we're going to add our key updates and impact on regional work. Over here, we recommend reviewing your visa status and taking your necessary actions before this deadline, to ensure that there are no interruptions to your work eligibility. And then we're concluding the email by saying if you have any questions or need assistance with the process, please do not hesitate to reach out. We're here to help and ensure everything goes smoothly for you. Best regards, James. And I'm going to click on save. Let's see if automation works. I'll run it. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our talents to work permit. Our automation ran successfully. We triggered our webhook after we changed the status of one of our talents to work permit. And we sent them the work permit notification email with the subject line and this email content. So by creating this simple automation, we've automated the work permit management process for a talent agency. The next process that we're going to automate in this video is the internship and hiring programs process, where we'll create an automation that automatically distributes job listings to multiple social media platforms. To automate the internship and hiring programs process, on our talent agency folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to internship and hiring programs. On this automation, we're going to select a folder that we're going to upload files we're going to post to our social media platforms. So on Google Drive, I'll watch files in a folder. Here I'll choose the folder that I would like to watch. I'll choose my last automation folder since there's an image in this folder, and assume that's the image I would like to post to our social media platforms, and limit it to 1, and click on OK. Then here I'll run this module and see if we're going to grab our image. You can see the image I would like to post to our social media platforms. With our image, I'm going to create a shareable link for image. So I'm going to choose our file ID, role can leave it as redone, type you can say anyone, and click on save. Now with our image, here I'll add another module. Then on HTTP, I'm going to click on get a file module. We're going to add the link to our image, and click on OK. And then here we can run automation, see if we're going to get our file. Here I'll choose where to start, and we can assume that we just uploaded this image to our folder, then click on save and run automation. You can see that it runs successfully, and we got our image right here. Now we can proceed and post it to a social media platform. So I'll click on flow control and click on router, and here we can post our image to 4 social media platforms. The first one that we can post is Facebook, so I'll search for Facebook and click on Facebook pages, and here I'll create a post with photos. We're going to choose our page, and then here I'm going to select the file that we'd like to post, which is this file that we got right here. You can choose to write captions and leave it as is, and click on save. Sometimes you'll need to click on it twice so it accepts. Then here you can choose a different social media platform. Here we can choose Instagram. Click on Instagram. Then here I'd like to create a post with photos and connect it like we did with Facebook, and do the same with LinkedIn. Click on LinkedIn. Then here I'll create a user image post. And then here lastly we can do the same with Twitter. So I'll search for Twitter, and I'll go to the previous version and click on upload the media. Here you can add the file that we like to upload on Twitter and click on save. You need to sometimes click on it twice so it accepts, and then now we can post it on Twitter. So on Twitter, I'll go now to the current version and click on create a post, where you'll add the captions if you want. After creating your connections and linking our file on your social media platforms, after you upload an image on our specific Google Drive folder, it will automatically create a link of the file, and then using the HTTP get a file module, we're going to post our file to the various social media platforms here. Now, to customize this module, you can add a ChatGPT module that will help you write captions for our files. By creating this simple automation, we'll have automated the internship and hiring program process for a talent agency. The next process that we're going to automate is the talent performance management process, where we'll create an automation that automates feedback collection via Typhon and logs in the client responses on Monday. So on our talent agency folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename a scenario to client feedback, and here I'll create a webhook that will be triggered after the status of one of our clients changes to send feedback. So here I'll click on webhook, then click on custom webhook, and here I'll click on add, and then I'll rename our webhook to client feedback, and then here I'll click on save. Then I'll copy the link to our webhook, then click on save and run our webhook. And then on Monday on our client's board, I'll click on integrate, and I'll click on webhooks. I'll use this as our template. Here I'll use another account and paste the webhook URL here and click on connect. It says fail to communicate with the URL provided. Here we'll return our challenge string using a webhook response. So here I'll add 2 curly braces, then I'll write challenge right here, and then I'll add our string over here, then click on save and run our webhook again. And then on Monday, I'll click on connect. Our webhook response ran successfully, so I'll delete it and run our webhook again to test it, but I'll need to set it up. So I'd like to send our webhook on the status of one of our clients changes to send feedback, and I'll click on create automation. Now to test if our webhook works, I'll change the status of one of our clients to send feedback. You can see that our webhook ran successfully, and we got the specific client whose status we just changed. To get the rest of their data, I'll copy this pulse ID, then I'll add another module. Then on Monday, I'll search for get an item module, then click on get an item. Here I'll choose my connection, and for the ID, I'm going to choose the pulse ID. For the board, I'm going to choose the client's board. Over here, then click on save. Now here, I run this module by placing our policy data here and clicking on OK. And here you can see we're getting our client's data here. We're getting the first name, last name, the email, and the rest of the information over here. Now, to send them a feedback survey form, on Typeform, I've created a client feedback form for our agency. On this form, we are asking our client a series of questions to give us feedback on our services. The first question that we're asking them is for them to fill in the form with their personal information. They're going to fill in the first name, the last name, the email, and their company name. The second question that we're asking them is, how would you rate your overall experience with Scarlet Sky Talent Agency? They're going to choose any of the options over here. The third question that we're asking them is, how satisfied were you with the talent we provided? Then they're going to choose any of the options over here. The fourth question that we're asking them is, did the talent meet your expectations in terms of professionalism and skill? Here they'll choose either of the options over here. The fifth question that we're asking them is, how effective was our communication throughout the process? And they'll choose either of these options over here. The sixth question that we're asking them is, was the timeline and scheduling of your project met? And here they'll choose either of the options over here. The seventh question that we're asking them is, did you feel supported throughout the project? And here they can either choose yes or no. And the last question that we're asking them is, how satisfied were you with the talent selection process? And here they'll choose either of these options over here. So this is a form that we'd like to send to our clients via email for them to fill in and give us feedback on our services. To get the link of this form, I'm going to click on share. And this is a link to our form. Now I'm going to copy the last part of our form, which is a unique ID to this form. And then on make, I'll add another module and then search for Typeform. On Typeform, I'm going to get our form. Here I'll add the ID of our form over here, then click on save, and we can run it and see if we're going to get our form. You can see we're getting our form over here. This is a link that we're going to send to our clients that they're going to use to fill in our form. So yeah, I'll rename this module to feedback survey form, then click on OK, and now we can send our clients the feedback survey form via email. Now, I'll rename our module to client feedback email. For the email address, we're going to add our client's email address from Monday over here. The subject line of this email could be in the lines of, would love your feedback, help us improve our services. Content type, we're going to choose plain text, and the content of this email could be in the lines of, hi, first name. We hope you had a great experience working with Scarlet Skies Talent Agency. To ensure we continue providing the best service, we'd love to hear your thoughts on how we did. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to us and will help us improve our processes and offerings. Please take a moment to fill out our quick feedback form by clicking the link below. And here we're adding the link to our form. We appreciate your time and insights. Thank you for choosing Scarlet Skies Talent Agency. We look forward to working with you again soon. Best regards, James. And I'm going to click on OK. To test if our automation works, I'll run it. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to send feedback. You can see that automation ran successfully. We triggered our webhook after we changed the status of one of our clients to send feedback. We got their data, and we also got our form from Typeform. Then we send the feedback survey form to our client via this email with the subject line and this email content with the client feedback form over here. We can also create another automation that waits for the client's responses and adds their responses to Monday. On Monday, I've created another board that I've renamed to Scarlet Skies Agency Clients Feedback. This is a board that we're going to collect our client feedback after they have filled in and submitted the form. On this board, we're collecting the client's full name, the first name, the last name, the email, the experience, the satisfaction, expectation, communication support, and if the timeline was met. To automate adding client feedback to our board on Monday, on our talent agency folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to add client feedback to Monday via Typeform. And here, I'll search for Typeform. Then on Typeform, I'm going to click on watch response module. I'll choose our feedback survey form and then click on save. Yeah, I like to start from now. Then click on save. Now on our form, I'll copy the link to our form and open it on a new tab. And here, I'm going to fill in our form this time around as a client. Here, their first name could be Dan, last name could be Brown, the email could be danbrown@annex.com, and the company could be Annex. And I'm going to click on OK. The second, how would you rate your overall experience with Scarlet Skies Talent Agency? You can say excellent. How satisfied were you with the talent we provided? You can say satisfied. Did the talent meet your expectation in terms of professionalism and skill? You can say yes. How effective was our communication throughout the process? You can say very effective. Was the timeline and scheduling for your project met? You can say yes. Did you feel supported throughout the project? Yes. How satisfied were you with the talent selection process? You can say neutral and click on submit. Now, here, I'm going to run our module and see if we're going to get our responses. Here, you can see we got our client's responses over here. Now we can proceed and add the responses to Monday. So here, on tools, I'll click on sleep module and choose to delay this module for 3 seconds to give Typeform some time to populate our client's data. Then I'll add another module. Then on Monday, I'm going to search for create an item module. Click on create. The item ID, I'm going to add the first and last name of our client, which is Dan space Brown. Okay, I'm going to choose our client feedback board, which is this board right here. For the group ID, I'm going to choose the client feedback list. Here, we're going to add the values to our column on Monday with the data that we got on Typeform. So here I'll add an item and choose a new column. I'm going to choose a communication column. And here we're going to add the value for the communication right here. Then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the email column. Here we're going to add our client's email. You can also add the email as a text. Then I'll add a new item and choose a new column. I'm going to choose the expectation column. Here we can add the value for the expectation. This value right here. And then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the experience column. Here we can add the value for the experience right here. Then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the first name column. Add the value for the first name, which is Dan. And I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the last name column. We're going to add the value for the last name, which is Brown. Then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the satisfaction column. Then I'll add the value for the satisfaction right here. Then I'll add a new item and choose a new column. I'm going to choose the support column. Another value for the support. Then I'll add a new item, choose a new column. I'm going to choose the timeline med column. Another value for the timeline med right here. And then here I'm going to click on save. Starting our client responses to Monday, we can send them a thank you email. On the thank you email module, we're going to add our client's email address over here. The subject line of this email could be in the lines of thank you for your feedback. The content type, I'm going to choose plain text. And the content of this email could be in the lines of hi, first name. Thank you so much for taking the time to fill out our feedback form. We truly appreciate your thoughts and insights, and your feedback will help us continue to improve our services. At Scarlet Skies Talent Agency, we are always striving to deliver the best experience possible, and your input plays a key role in that process. If you ever need anything or have additional thoughts to share, do not hesitate to reach out. We're here to help and look forward to the opportunity to work with you again in the future. Best regards, James. I'm going to click on save. To test if automation works, I'm not going to fill out our form again. Instead, I'm going to choose our previous submission that we did previously. Choose our submission, which is this submission right here, and click on save. Then I'll run automation. You can see that automation ran successfully. Here we got our client submission that we delayed for 3 seconds and added their feedback on Monday. Then we also sent them a thank you email with the subject line and this email content over here. On Monday, on our client's feedback board, you can see we added a new client with their feedback over here. The new client was Dan Brown. Here's their first name, the last name, the email, the experience, satisfaction, expectation, communication support, and timeline feedback on this board. By creating these two automations over here, we've automated the talent performance management process for a talent agency, where we are sending a form to our client for them to fill in and give us feedback on our services. And then we are logging in their responses to our client's feedback board on Monday. So these were all the processes for a talent agency that we automated in this video. The first automation that we created was an automation that captures the client's data and adds their data to Monday. This automation also sends them a welcome email. The second automation that we created was a client onboarding automation. This automation is triggered after the status of one of our clients changes to onboard. Then we're creating the onboarding call link and the contract and sending the onboarding call link and the contract via the onboard email. The third automation that we created was an automation that captures the talent information via Typeform, then adds the information to Monday. This automation, we're also sending them a confirmation email and notifying the talent manager of the talent via on Slack. The fourth automation that we created was a talent onboarding automation. This automation is triggered after the status of one of our talent changes to onboard. Then we are creating an interview link and a contract and sending the interview link and the contract to our talent via the onboarding email. After a few days, we're sending the follow-up email. The fifth automation that we created was an invoice management automation. This automation is triggered after the status of one of our clients changes to send invoice. Then we are generating our invoice on Stripe and sending the invoice to our client via the invoice email. And then After the due date, we're checking if our client has paid the invoice, and if they haven't paid the invoice, we're going to send them the payment reminder email. 6 automation that we created in this video was a training and skill development automation. This automation creates a training session link and gets educational resources from a Google Drive folder and sends the training session link and the educational resources link to our talents via the educational resources email. After a few days, we're also sending them a workshop email. The 7th automation that we created in this video was a creative asset management automation. This automation watches for emails with documents and then uploads the documents to a Google Drive. It also creates a shareable link of the documents and it notifies our team of the document with a link to the document on Slack. The 8th automation that we created in this video was a work permit management automation. This automation notifies our talent about the status of the work permit. The 9th automation that we created in this video was an internship and hiring program automation. This automation watches for files in our folder, then generates a link of the files. And then with the link to the files, we are uploading the files to our different social media platforms. The 10th automation that we created in this video was a client feedback automation. This automation gets our feedback survey form from Typeform and sends it to our client via the client feedback email. And the last automation that we created in this video was an automation that adds the client feedback that we got from our client after they filled in our feedback survey form and automatically adds the feedback to our client feedback board on Monday. This automation also sends the client a thank you email thanking our client for filling and submitting our form. Here are all the automations that we created in this video, automating processes for a talent agency. Now, if you have an automation or a system in mind that you'd like for me to create, just comment down below in the comment section. If I land on your comment and I find it intriguing, I'll come back on a future video showing you how to create the entire system or automation from scratch. But for now, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.